We begin in Niger State, where local government elections are underway, with voters turning out to elect chairmen, vice chairmen and councillors in all 25 local government areas. The Niger State Independent Electoral Commission says 805 candidates from 10 political parties are contesting, including the All Progressives Congress, People's Democratic Party, Social Democratic Party and Labour Party. According to Chairman of the Commission, Mohammed Imam, 4,950 polling units and 274 wards will be used for the election, with over 10,000 ad hoc staff deployed to ensure smooth conduct. To bring us more updates, we're now joined by our correspondents Aishat, Salihu and Sagir Ibrahim, who are live in Niger State. I'll start with Aishat. So tell us what the situation is as regards the election at the polling units where you are.
Okay, thank you so much, Luca. Good afternoon. Well, we've been in Niger State all day. Today is a D-Day for the local government elections, and in the morning we realized that some of the sensitive materials were being deployed today from the divisional police headquarters right in Suleja division. Division, and that's even kind of stirred up some tension a bit as some of the party agents and potential electors were complaining about the level and manner of deployment, although electoral officials said they had to put those sensitive materials in that particular police station due to safety, whilst the non-sensitive materials had been deployed across all the wards in the local government area just yesterday. And whilst we're moving around, we also realized that voting didn't commence early. In some areas, voting started around 10, around 11. Even where we're standing right now, voting started around 12. Past 12 p.m. and residents were really lamenting that due to the late arrival of this sensitive materials, this was what was the cause of the late start of the election. And some persons had even had to go back home because when they came, they didn't meet the officials, and the officials were not ready to take on the elections. And that was what has been going on. And then in other places, people decided to go ahead and carry out their voting, even without seeing some sensitive materials. I'm talking about the election results, even without seeing them. And the electoral officials also told them that before the end of the election today, they will get to see the election result sheet. But I'm right here in Iku South 1 ward. This particular ward has about 3 to 4 polling units. On my right here, you can see one of the polling units. Just also there, you can also see another polling unit over there. Voters, residents are still waiting. Many of them have been able to cast their votes, and they are waiting until the end of the polls today, when the results would be collated and counted. But I want to walk right up to someone who is also here, and he has been able to cast his vote earlier, to hear what he has to say about the conduct of the election. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes. You're live on TV. Your full name, please.
I'm Ibrahim Stanley.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'd like to hear from you. How has it been the conduct of the election here in this particular ward?
I would say to some extent it was okay, but notwithstanding, I was not comfortable with the way some persons were misbehaving. Notwithstanding, I think it was...
What you said, some persons were misbehaving. What can you say about that? What do you mean by that?
I could get one of the candidates of the APC having multiple voters card. I was shocked, and it's unfortunate that we get to see these kind of things. So I was not comfortable with that, especially seeing a single person having multiple voters card.
So what about the conduct of the elections? Because earlier you mentioned that it looks as if they were swaying the choices of the people who were here to vote.
Yes, it was quite obvious that it's not something that I felt that since we are seeing a growing nation, so it's something that it's unfortunate that we will still find ourselves doing. I could see some persons trying to lure people, canvassing. See, it's just unfortunate. I'm not comfortable with it, but I'm here to just do my own civil duties. I just want to wait to ensure that they count the votes and I head back home.
Well, Leko, you have heard from one of the residents in this area who had cast his vote earlier, and he has laid some complaints and alleged that most of the party officials who were here earlier today were almost like trying to lure people with cash on their choice of candidates.
So much, Aishat, Salihu, for sharing the details with us. We'll definitely try to track back with you to get more details as regards to how the election is being concluded at the polling units that you are actually monitoring. But then let's quickly talk to Sagir Ibrahim and also get details as regards to what he has noticed during the course of the election. Sagir, tell us where you are, the areas that you're covering, and how the elections had panned out in the couple of hours that you've been monitoring it.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to viewers watching. At the moment, I'm at the Emir Junction polling unit in Boso local government. This is polling unit 17. Just a few moments ago, there was some activity right there where the voters register was posted for individuals to check out their names before, of course, coming to the polling point where we have the polling officials who are supposed to vet their documents, the authenticity of the documents, before they then proceed to the ballot box area where they vote. Voting is still on here. A few individuals have been here, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. If the live had come to me by then, maybe we would have seen some of them. But then we have someone here who can actually speak to us. He is a voter. He voted here, and he has been here ever since. Number one, of course, for the reasons of following the ballot, and also number two, he will be joining us, Abdullahi Boso, of course, to give more details about how voting went on right here. Mr. Abdullahi, please come this way. You're facing the camera. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's fine. Just face here. Can you talk to us? Tell us what the situation has been in this polling unit. You just turn this way so you face the camera and so they can see you.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. As you can see, Boso local government is a very peaceful local government. And you can see the voting is still going on. But the only situation we had, the turnout is low. But the voting is very peaceful.
Okay, now the low turnout, can you talk to us as to the reason why there's been a low turnout in this polling unit and of course across several other polling units, because we actually went round and it's the same situation across?
So I can't say much about that because we have been advocating that people should come out to vote, but we don't know the reason why they are not out to vote.
So, but finally, generally, what's your assessment of the poll?
Yeah, I can say like 70% assessment.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that was Abdullahi Boso. Abdullahi Boso is a resident of Boso local government, and he has given his verdict of the election. But then again, we went round several other local governments. We were in Shiroro, particularly at Mutun Daya Market. When we got to the market, we saw quite a number of activities going on as market men and women were seen going about doing their businesses. We spoke to some of them, of course, who had granted the interview in Hausa. Would be bringing a translation of that interview subsequently, and they had mentioned that of course they had gone to the polling units with the intention of voting, but sadly they waited there for hours and they didn't see any polling official talk more of voting materials or items. That's the situation for Shiro local government, Mutundaya Market. Other individuals had mentioned something similar to that. It took such a long time for voting to commence at several polling units, which caused for many of the Nigerians who came out, residents of Niger State, with the intention to participate in the local government election, to give up and leave frustrated because it took so much time. Some polling units we observed commenced proper polling at around 11 a.m. in the morning. So so late and, of course, 3 hours away from the 8 a.m. commencement time that it's supposed to commence. Also, like he mentioned, low voter turnout. That has been the case across several polling units that we had observed electioneering or voting take place. For now, voting is supposed to end by 4 p.m. We'll still be making the rounds to see what the situation is going to be like, and of course we'll be bringing those visuals to you when the collation starts for several of the polling units across the different local governments in Niger State. This, of course, has been the developments right now. More details coming your way much later. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Sagir Ibrahim, for sharing details with us. But then, before I let you go, Sagir, I'd like to confirm, because Aishat mentioned that there were party officials who were around some areas trying to induce voters. And of course, I'd like to find out if you witnessed any of such activity where you are, and of course, the conduct of security personnel in the areas that you have visited.
For the areas that I visited, it was quite peaceful. I didn't really see any case of party officials trying to induce voters. I didn't see so, because for many of the areas that we visited, the turnout was even low to begin with. So there were not really many people as at the time that would have been available for these, party officials to induce in the first case. But maybe for areas that has some form of dense population of individuals who went there to vote, maybe that could have been the case. But for me, I didn't observe any of such. Of course, we got information that around the fringes, of Niger State, local governments, at the remotest areas, right now, some say results has even started coming out, and results have been announced, from those local governments, some of which even started polling around 11 a.m. and we're done with polling as early as 1 p.m. with results announced. These are some of the feelers that, we've been getting. Of course, we heard that in some areas, it became physical. There were some recorded cases of violence, but we're still following up with details about that. So all of that for us right now are still speculative, but the moment we have something concrete, we'll be putting it forth.
So much, Sagir Ibrahim, for sharing these details with us. Definitely we'll try to track back with you during the course of your coverage of the elections and see how it is eventually going to go down in terms of the result. But then, Aishat, before I release you, you talked about materials arriving late at some of the polling stations. Any idea why that happened? And I'd like to also find out if those who have actually casted their vote are still around to monitor the process, or maybe some of them have actually left the polling centers.
Well, Lekon, for the arrival of the late arrival of these sensitive materials in the wards and polling units, part of the reasons is that most of the materials were lodged at the Division A police station in Niger State, Suleja, I beg your pardon, and the electoral officials told us that they had to put those sensitive materials in the police station as a result of security concern, and they had to start deploying just today, this morning. And even with the way they were deploying, some persons were not okay with the deployment. They even had to escort some of these materials. They had even refused the electoral officials using vehicles to take these materials to the various polling units and the wards within. They asked to, from the footage we shared earlier, they asked to carry these materials themselves alongside the SPOs to the units because they didn't trust the electoral officials. And in some of the polling units that we have been, voters are still waiting till the collation and announcement of results in their polling units. So that's basically the situation at the moment. Voters are still waiting, although just like Sagir said, low voter turnout. Of course, some persons had come out earlier hoping to vote early and return, but that was not the case. They had to wait or had to come back, and some persons didn't even return. And in other cases, there were also allegations. Some persons who refused to speak on camera mentioned that they realized that some of the voting materials that were brought to the polling units were not even certified. It looked more like they were fake. They were fake documents, and once voters went to those polling units to vote, they were asked to go by. It was more like something like they want to thumbprint those papers without the original voters. These are still allegations, and we're working our way around verifying these claims and also knowing the real truth about these allegations. But this is what has been happening regarding the local government elections, especially in wards in Suleja local government area in Niger State.
So much, Aishat, Salihu, and Sagir Ibrahim, once again for sharing these details with us. Fantastic job that you guys are doing out there on the field. Definitely would come across some other time, probably during the course of our subsequent bulletins, to get more details from you. It was nice talking to you.